right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's another episode of Mack's Monday Mojo. And man, this is a happy day for me. I can't tell you. I get to reunite with one of my brothers in championship from Thousand Oaks High School. His name is Jeff Ward. And he's going to tell you a little bit more about himself. But let me just tell you who you're going to be listening to here. This guy in real estate, he is the man out there in Jackson Hole in Wyoming. Hey, 2018 Teton County Realtor of the Year, over 500 million in transactions that he's been involved in. Hey, I am honored and blessed to have this man on Mack's Monday Mojo, and we're going to talk about how he's done it. So, Jeff, let's just, get into it, man. I mean, we went to high school together. We won a championship. But tell them a bit about yourself, man, and how this all happened.
Wow, Mack, it's so good to be here. I love watching all your Facebook videos and everything you're doing. That you see all my likes and on all the stuff that you do. I think it's great. It's very inspirational. I love how you keep everybody motivated and you're passionate about what you do, and that's really what it takes. So can't believe. I think we met. It must have been in summer of 1986 when you came rolling out from Paramount High School into good old Thousand Oaks, California, and jumped on our football team and took it to the next level.
A lot of people don't believe that story, that this Compton Paramount kid came out to the burbs and we still managed to go like this and win championship. Yeah,
that special group of people. Well, thanks for having me on your show. And my story is kind of interesting. My family's roots are from Laramie, Wyoming. My grandfather was the dean of students at University of Wyoming, and my grandparents used to manage the Jenny Lake Lodge here in Grand Teton National Park back in the 40s and 50s for the Rockefeller family. So wow. Some roots there. And, I tried to play football at University of Wyoming and then got a little homesick and came back to California and then ended up going to USC and graduated from USC. And then from there moved to Jackson Hole, actually with old Ben Catlin. I know a lot of you maybe watching know Ben, and we came here in '95. So I just I turned 50 last year, so I literally just hit my half life here in Jackson Hole. So it's kind of crazy, half Cali, half Jackson Hole. But quick story. Started in the hotel business, kind of worked my way up in that. Was a bellman, worked at Pizza Hut back in '95. Like whatever it takes to get to where I needed to go. And
everybody starts at Pizza Hut, whether eating it or working it.
Food. That's what you had to do. So it was kind of a different place to be after college, and was snowboarding and skiing and doing that whole thing. And then it just started, evolved and built it into a life here. And long story short, ended up becoming a general manager of one of the nicest hotels in Teton Village back in 2002. Was also a manager at the Amman Hotel here. And then after several years doing that, I jumped into real estate. My wife, Kelly, who I met here, she started a real estate company called Teton Village Realty in 2003. We developed a condo hotel there, Teton Mountain Lodge, and sold that inventory. And so used that as kind of a foundation, and I just found a kind of natural balance between the sort of 5-star hotel management philosophy and real estate customer service, and evolved that into a successful luxury real estate business here in Jackson Hole.
Wow, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. But what goes hand in hand is service. You mentioned something about service, and 5-star hotels, and your whole goal is to give 5-star service, I'm sure, to your clients. You wouldn't be a Realtor of the Year if you weren't doing that. And that's something that, with Game Changers in Real Estate at Loan Depot, that's something we pride ourselves on, is having 5-star reviews and that customers are very happy. And I can tell you're knocking it out the park with that, man, which is cool.
Well, it's so important that you have to set yourself apart from the competition somehow, and if you can just to put the little touches on the business that set you apart, and that's what we've focused on. And it's down to when a client's coming into town and taking it to a level of making hotel reservations, finding rentals for them, making sure they get a seat at the best table in the local restaurants. All those kinds of things all help, and creates that connectivity with the town. Kind of establish this trusted advisor. It's a term I like to use a lot. Is we are your trusted advisors, and in this unique market where people are having to make quick decisions, they need to have an agent who knows the market, and they can feel comfortable making decisions that are quick decisions. Where now that this buyer's market, seller's market, it makes it more challenging for buyers to make these decisions, especially when they're remote. In the big cities. You mentioned COVID and this new normal here.
Right.
I thought, gosh, what's going to happen to our business come March? We're all quarantined, and a couple of weeks go by, and I say, oh no, wow, this is not good. And then suddenly the phone started to ring, the emails started to come through from people in San Francisco and New York City, all looking for places in Jackson Hole, and it just started to go crazy.
Really?
We started to build these as escape homes. It was a whole different thing. It's not a second or third home, but it really was an escape home to feel like you have a place to come and be out of the not feel the city.
That's pretty cool that you said that. I never thought about that. Living out here in Denver, we have the same, thing. People come, they want to live in Vail or Breckenridge or something like that. I never really thought of it. You would think that with COVID, maybe the business would go down a little bit, but no, people did want to escape. So escape homes, I like that. That's a cool
thing. It's been crazy, Mac. I mean, I sold several homes in the 4, 5, 6, 7 million range where I sold the homes off of video. And, that's one of the reasons I love what you're doing here and, communicating with people is that, being able to give an honest look at a home through your own eyes and try and blend that your vision with what the buyer is looking for, and really not just the glamorous shots of what sells the home. It's really what are the negatives about the house as well. Like really make sure that they understand this is the property from all different angles, lenses, and that's what we do. And that again establishes that trust. And once they feel that they have that again trusted advisor, they can make a confident decision. I mean, it's been crazy that people would actually buy a house sight unseen at that kind of level because that's what they want to be in this market. And now we've sold basically all the inventory. So now I'm scrambling to try and find properties.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about that because we're dealing with the same thing out here. And yours is even more condensed. So, I mean, as far as inventory goes, I mean, when you pull up inventory on Monday, what does that look like in Jackson Hole right now?
It doesn't look good. There's for example, I don't have a buyer for this particular house, but there's this house that sold, I think it was 2012 on the 18th tee at a nice country club here, sold for like $4 million and went on the market for $10.5 million on Friday. Wow. I got a call from one of my colleagues who said, I'm in a multiple offer situation. We're both at full price. I need to get into this, this property. Do you have any advice on what we can do to maybe give ourselves a little bit of an advantage, with the seller? And so we had that conversation this weekend. So that's what you're dealing with. You aren't ready to go the moment that a property hits the market. I mean, you really have to be ahead of MLS. I mean, you need to have your email out there asking what's coming up. We've really focused on being, sort of Switzerland in this market. I try to make sure that the relationships, because they're so important, the relationships with other brokers, where if you do have a need, that they're going to reach out to you and understand that you have clients that can perform, that would buy a property before the rest of the market and MLS gets to see what comes out. So that's kind of where we're at now, is really trying to be ahead of things.
Well, and again, it's so cool now to like really spend some time with you on the phone, because a lot of what we do is the same. I tell clients all the time, in this market, there are going to be multiple offers. You need to be ready. And a few people go, well, I'll wait to get pre-approved when I find a place. If you wait to get pre-approved for your loan or whatever you're going to do, when you find a place, it's going to be gone. So, and I would imagine most people, even myself, wouldn't think when you're dealing with $10 million properties, you aren't in multiple offer situations, but you're telling me right now that it's the same deal.
It's the same deal. Yeah, it's really kind of crazy. I mean, it's coming down to, obviously there's lots of different price points in our market, but the high end has been popular. A lot of it because of people wanting to avoid taxes. California specifically has been really strict, so we're seeing a lot of people move to Wyoming for, we have no income tax in the state, so that's been a motivator. So people are saving money by buying a house here. But we're getting down to the point where you have people that are spending that kind of money that are writing actual letters to the seller and saying about their families, all the things that you see, in just your typical, single family residence, that you sell a lot of with your mortgage business. So, or finance a lot of. So it's been really interesting. And those are the kind of strategies you have to employ to again, set yourself apart from the other buyer. Now,
you've been a top performer out there for a while now, which is awesome. I'm super proud of you. I'm going to say that again. I'm super proud of you because you are a Lancer. And tell me what that feeling was like, man, when you first sold your first $1 million property and you got paid. What was that feeling like? Go back to that spot.
Gosh, that's a really good question. God, the feeling, what's been interesting, the feelings have evolved over time. And, when it comes down to a lot of it, is experience, right? So when I was so competitive, I mean, just like we were in our football days, and I still, you probably employ that same strategy, in your business, as do I, right?
Yes.
So you always want to win. So that's the number one thing. It's, it's the money's great, right? But it's really, I want to win this deal.
Right.
And, that first deal that I got, it was back when, I remember this specifically. So it was before all the, e-sign, DocuSign, all that stuff. You had to get physical signatures and fax.
Right.
So my office was on the town square, and there was another competing offer, and the other broker's office was across the town square, the Jackson Town Square. And I knew by the time if I put it in the fax machine and their fax came in first, that they might get that offer before ours came in. So I sprinted across the town square into the guy's office and handed him the contract before the fax came in on the other offer, and got that deal done. So that was my time right there.
See, that was where all that exercise and working out, I always talk to people about, you got to have the physicality, you got to have the mindset, and you got to have the dedication to get anything done in life. And it's no different in this business. You just talked about that. That's right.
Well, it's great to see you and all that you're doing here. I brought a little surprise here for you. Where is it here? So there's the first one, right?
It is.
Then we got this right here.
Yes, that's the one right there. And we're still the one and onlys that have won that CIF championship at Thousand Oaks High School.
Now that's just with 2007, right?
Yeah. Hey, so in ending here, because I know you got a big day ahead of you, and we got people to get approved, and you got people to get in there. Yeah, a lot of games to change, and you definitely have to get out there in that snow and show some people some $1 million properties, man. But I was always told that to be successful, you needed to have 5 hobbies, not work, but 5 hobbies. And those, I'll just tell you, one was a hobby that made money. The other was a hobby that kept you creative. And one was a hobby that built knowledge and wisdom, and a hobby to evolve your mindset, and then a hobby that kept you in shape. So just those last 5 things I want to end it with.
Okay.
What's a hobby that makes you money? It might be real estate. I
know. Yeah. That really is it. That's my go-to. My other hobby is that I love to play the stock market, man. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, I kind of grown. It actually started when I got kind of serious about it was during quarantine, because you had some money in the bank, and there were so many great buying opportunities. I had a good friend here locally who said, just look at the stock market like real estate. If you think something's a good deal, a company you believe in, and the price looks pretty good, buy it. When the price gets higher and it looks like it's a good time to sell it, then sell it. So I kind of just said, okay, that seems reasonable, and didn't get into all the minutia of it. And it's probably not the smartest way to go about it, but it's not like our life savings. It's money that I have to to invest and try to build for for the future. So that's one of the things. And then real estate is kind of definitely hobby and passion blend.
Right.
And then you see, maybe some of you have seen some of my cooking stuff online. That's my creative outlet from a hobby standpoint. I love that, and that's really kind of evolved over time through. I used to hide in the back, when I had high maintenance guests and huge banquets and parties going on at the hotels, and dealing with, high net worth people who are, high maintenance.
Right.
And go to the kitchen, get a little break, talk to the chef, because they're all back there just kind of doing their thing. And I was like, all right, show me how you do that. Show me how you do this. And then go back and deal with the guests again. So that's how that sort of evolved too.
Nice. What keeps you creative, man?
Gosh, my children, it's, people say, time goes so fast, all the things that you hear, I can't believe I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. It seems like yesterday, that they were just little kids. I know you can relate to that. And
yes, sir.
Keeping up with them, that keeps me creative. They're, the way that their brains work, what they think about, it's interesting. My wife and I talk about how, when you're having dealings with your children, be it good or bad ones, that they're your offspring. They're you. So a lot of times it's like, okay, I get it a little bit more. It's hard to make that connection, but they are you. So some of the things that maybe your habits that are questionable, and your habits that are good. There's a blend of both. So I try to use that as a way to to understand more. And
it keeps you creative for sure. I know.
Definitely keeps you creative. Yes.
What about something you do that builds knowledge and wisdom?
Gosh, a lot. I like to stay educated. I like to read. I like to keep up with the news. I think probably the biggest thing that's been challenging for us is we love to travel. That's kind of our biggest thing, and not being able to do so for the last 10 months here. Plus, we've done some light traveling, but not to the extent of going to other countries. I mean, we've traveled a lot around the world, and seeing other cultures and the way of life, and being able to have that balance and relate to what other cultures are all about. Going and making sure my kids understand that this life that they lead in Jackson Hole skiing and all this great stuff that they have. But we go to a place like Cambodia or Thailand or Bali or other places where you're in some villages and you see people that are living very simply. Sometimes I think, okay, like I love Bali for the reason that it's focused on simply on music, on food, on family, on culture, and dance. Just like a very basic. They have those things and they're so happy with not all this money and all that, but it's just like the simple things in life to keep you balanced. So I find that I get wisdom from that by understanding that we're very fortunate for what we have, but it doesn't mean making money and selling real estate and doing all this is great, but having the happiness and the love and family and all those things, that's what 100% is most important. So the travel, I guess that would be my answer for wisdom outside of the news and those sorts of things.
How do you get this mind to evolve, man? So I think probably that's your wisdom piece is, I think that was a little bit of both as far as evolving the mindset. So what do you do now to keep in shape, man? You look like you're still staying in shape. I try. I love to eat, love to drink good wine and all that. So, I've got a Peloton upstairs. I hit that this morning before this. Right. So I try to do that a bunch, obviously get out and cross country and snowboard and do the outdoor things. Cool. Road bike a bit in the summertime, but the Peloton's my go-to if I just need a quick workout, and I've got my different music, right.
Rock my Alex Toussaint with some hip hop,
I know you were always well versed, you weren't just rock and roll, so that was cool.
No, I got the full mix going on.
So before I let you go, give everybody out there, especially I know a lot of realtors will see this, quick tip or trick to success, no matter what market you're in. What is it?
I think the biggest one is market knowledge. Well, I got to say more than one. So understanding your market is 100% important. You need to know your market in and out, be able to answer a question about comparable sales, about properties, get in all the houses you can get in, understand them. But the biggest thing in this market is that I don't know what the stat is, but I hear it's like in the upper 90% of buyers are going online and they're basically looking at everything and they're doing their job. It's not like the old days where you sent them stuff. They know what is on the market. Right. They have an alert set to, something pops up in their price range, they're going to know what it is. So the most important thing is when you get that lead, you need to be the first person to call back or to email back and respond as quickly as possible. If you delay and wait for half a day or wait till the next day to respond, you're going to miss a deal. Yeah. So I always pride myself that no matter what I'm doing, and sometimes it's not the best and most convenient time to get back, but when you respond quickly and that potential buyer says, thank you for getting back to me, you're the first person to get back to me, and then you have that conversation, establish that rapport, become their trusted advisor, and then that's what takes you to the opportunity to sell them a property.
I love it, man. I love it. And again, thanks for taking the time today, brother. I told you I'll be out there in a few months. I am going to do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, look forward to it. I'm gonna hold you accountable for finding me a nice place to stay, and then we're gonna go out and have some dinner and have some wine and enjoy it and just catch up, man.
Absolutely, man. That sounds so good. It was great to see you, Mack, and let's keep in touch. If you want to do this again sometime, happy to jump on here and
for sure. Do that. You're my guy in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. From now on, anybody wants to buy a house out there, and have some pretty high net worth clients myself, and I never really thought about it until we started to go, wait, we should be working together on stuff. So,
cool, man.
Let's do it.
Congrats on all your successes. I love
you too.
Again, like I said, keep putting up those videos, and especially the ones where you say yeah.
All right, brother, man, it's been great. Go kick butt today, man. Keep changing the game. Keep helping people out.
You too, brother.
Talk to you later. Later, bud.
Peace.